In this video, I have 5 autism burnout recovery tips. So here we go. Well, hello Indie people, and if you're brand new to my channel, I make weekly videos talking about being autistic from my experiences. So if that sounds like a cup of tea, make sure you subscribe and click that notification bell. It lets you know when I upload to the channel. But also I want to hear from you, what things helped you recover from burnout, or what tips and advice do you have for people who are experiencing burnout? If you feel like you can contribute to the conversation, definitely leave a comment down below. It would be greatly appreciated. So the first autism burnout recovery tip that I have is giving yourself time, or giving the autistic person time to recover, because the way the world is generally, it's fast-paced, and we are constantly told to keep up with the way the world is, rather than setting the time aside for ourselves to recover from the sensory stimulus that is too overbearing for us, or the constant social situations that we put ourselves into or asked to attend that just drains our social batteries, just drains us as people. As someone who has experienced autism burnout, it's so important to take the time to recover. I mean, for myself, when I'm experiencing burnout, where I just feel just depleted, I just feel just not great, I will just take the day off from doing YouTube, from doing anything else. Although things like socializing and doing just general things are important, the most important thing is the person's health and well-being. And when I'm in burnout, that's what I need to do. I need to stay in one place. I don't tend to go out or do a lot when I'm in burnout, because I just don't have the energy to do it. It makes me more prone to shutdowns and meltdowns and things, and it just is a lot to deal with, especially when you just feel weak and fragile. That's the way burnout makes me feel weak and fragile and just not able to do as much, and I'm not as able to cope with stuff. But I don't know if that's your experience as well. I would love to know down below. Now, the second tip for autism burnout recovery is when you are doing things or starting to do things, and the thing that really helps me is setting reminders, writing things down, because when I'm in burnout, really a lot of the skills that I have are just not there. For example, being able to remember things. Like, my memory is terrible at the best of times, but in burnout, I forget the simplest of things. Even if it's just doing something in 5 minutes time, I will instantly forget it, because my mind is not focused on the 1,000,001 things that I need to do during the course of a day. It's basically doing or trying to do the very basic things. That's the thing that I focus on. I really feel that autism burnout does hinder memory quite a lot, which is actually a problem to do with executive dysfunction. I did make a video on executive dysfunction, I'll leave it up there. Writing stuff down, setting reminders, I think it's incredibly important, because even though we're in burnout and we need the time to recover, it's still important, I feel, to try and set reminders, especially as, like I say, the world goes really quickly a lot of the time. Setting reminders just to keep on top of things as best as you can. Now, the third autism burnout recovery tip that I have for you is limiting your commitments if it is possible, because, like I say, the world moves incredibly quickly, and quite often the reason why autistic people go into burnout in the first place is that we overcommit to different things. Such as myself, I have been in that position before, where I've been uploading these videos to YouTube, doing work on top, as well as being a guitarist in a band. And the thing about overcommitting is not just an autism thing, it's a human thing. We all do it, we all overcommit sometimes, and we forget to set our own limits. But for me, as an autistic person, you may relate to this, we don't want to let people down. We want to do the best that we can to either impress or to say to people that we can actually do the work even though it's not within our ability, or we are overcommitting when we don't have the resources, the energy, or the time to do it. The moment you're back on your feet, people will want stuff from you or ask you to do things, and it's so easy just to say yes to everything because you want to please people or you don't want to make people upset. But the most important thing, and I feel this is something that we all need to remember, including myself, I forget this as well, we overcommit to things, and that ultimately leads to burnout. Now, my fourth tip for Autistic Burnout Recovery is relying on your support network. Now, this could be friends, family, acquaintances, people in the community, such as the autistic community for myself and others around me. I would not have been able to get myself out of that burnout feeling without people around me to firstly encourage me to get back out there, to get back on the horse. Some of you might be thinking to yourselves or saying to yourselves, Andy, I don't have friends. All of the people that I know in my life are thinking that I'm a really weird person, or my family doesn't understand me. They don't understand why I have this autistic identity. They don't think I'm autistic. I hear a lot of stories, from you guys, especially in my comment section, talking about how there's no one to support you. I would like to think that this channel, even though it's just me talking and, I don't know you, that it's a place for you to come, feel like your experiences are validated, but also to know that there are people like you. Being surrounded by people who understand that and you can rely on, I think is super important. But before we get on to tip number 5, I do have a bonus tip for this video on how to recover from autism burnout, which is maybe a little bit unconventional, but it's something that has helped me in my recovery from burnout, and that is stimming more. And stimming, if you don't know, is a shortened term for self-stimulatory behavior, and self-stimulatory behavior is basically moving objects, handling objects, moving yourself, moving your body in a particular way or multiple ways, in a repetitive way. I have talked about stimming quite a lot. I'll leave a playlist up there for you to check out if that's something you want to look into. But honestly, stimming or trying to stim, I feel is incredibly helpful, especially if you're, recovering from burnout, because a lot of autistic people, including myself, use stimming as a way to relax, essentially, but also to cope with situations that are overstimulating. But here is my 5th tip for autism burnout recovery, and this is being patient with yourself or someone that you know, because I can understand that you want to feel like your old self again. You want to get to that position again before you burn out, where you were thriving or you were doing well in something, and then burnout hit because you overcommitted, there was loads of stress, all of those sorts of things, and you just want to get back to that point of where you were before. But the thing is, you have to be patient. It doesn't come overnight, like they say, Rome wasn't built in a day. I think quick results don't necessarily mean long-term gains, and I feel like if you are prepared to be patient, or you're with someone who's going through that burnout process, or they're trying to recover from burnout, it's just really important to be patient. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a big thumbs up on this video so I know. And if you want to check out some of my other videos, there's videos on screen right now or down below. Stay you, stay indie, and I'll see you next time.